Looking to take you and your real estate business to the next level? You're in the right place. Laying foundations for real estate success? This is the No Fluff, No BS podcast about real estate for real estate agents and other industry professionals looking to up their game. Unfiltered short-form sales meetings, interviews with agents from every walk of life, and ramble sessions about everything real estate. Welcome to a new mindset. You are listening to RERAW. And now, introducing your host, James Hoff.
Well, good morning. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We are well into Q4 now. It is October 8th, 2018, and the first week of the fourth quarter is already done. We are well underway. I hope that you guys took out those journals last week. I hope that you achieved your goals. If you didn't, it's okay, because today is a new day. Today is Monday. Today is the best day ever for you to get back on track and make sure that your eyes are forward, you're clear on your actions, you're clear on the goals that need to happen. So before we get into today's sales meeting, which is all about action, I want you to take out those journals and be honest with yourself about your progress over this past week. Did you set your goals? Did you start planning for January? What's going to happen when we get into 2019? Are you going to start planning for January on January 1st? Are you sitting there in the back of your mind telling yourself, man, next year I'm going to kill it. Come January, I'm picking up the pace? Because if that's you, then you are behind now. It's January now. You think it's October? It's January. What you do now impacts you then. Be ready so you hit the ground running. One of the biggest mistakes, and I promise we're going into our sales meeting here in a minute or two, but one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my business was in year two. Going into year two, I was like, man, I am so stoked. I'm going to take a couple weeks, recharge my brain. Come January 1st, I'm a new man, new agent, and we are rolling forward. I was coming off of my first year in business. I did $120,000 in GCI, and oh my gosh, I was so screwed come January 1st, because this man who made this mental commitment that like January 1st, we're going to start picking up the game. But guys, what I started doing on January 1st, I wasn't going to reap the rewards from until freaking March, April, May, right? You have to plan ahead. So I'm kicking this dead dog, and I'm kicking it hard because you have to hear this. You've got to know it. And if you haven't started doing it, then get your ass in line and make it happen, because you've got to start setting goals and start getting your forecasting and your planning and your plans and all your stuff done for next year. It's got to happen right now. And if you wait until December, you're behind also. If you start right now, because we're still early in Q4, then you can just make small fine-tune adjustments as you go. So make sure that you're doing these weekly goals and that you're starting to analyze your last 52 weeks, right? So that you can start figuring out what the next 52 weeks need to look like, okay? You can highlight the big things, get rid of the garbage, highlight the big things, double, triple, quadruple down on them in 2019, all right? All right, so couple quick things. Number one, remember, we are now on YouTube. The link again will be in the show notes. You can also go to reraw.com/YouTube. You can also just go to YouTube and search for RERAW. And then, of course, once you find the channel, make sure that you subscribe to it. For those of you who aren't huge on the podcast scene but like content on YouTube, it's a great place for you to go. And if you want to stare at this ugly mug and you want to see how cash my office and my little studio space is right now, then check it out. And don't worry, one day we'll do an upgrade. But right now, it's all about the content, baby. That's all I care about. Number two, Parking Lot Pointers. It is live. It's on YouTube. It's coming up here on the podcast scene pretty soon. But right now, the only place you can hear it or see it and be part of it is on YouTube. So check it out. It's where I give my shortest form content, anywhere from 30 seconds to about 3 minutes or less. And it's just tips, tricks, and tactical-ish for your business between the door of whatever I'm driving to the door of wherever I'm going. So check that out. And then last and finally, as you get ready for next year, if you think that you need better accountability. If you want to be part of an active and engaged group to keep your ass in line all year long for $1 a day, for $1 a day, only 100 people, 100 max in this group, RERAW.com/100. Go to RERAW.com/ and then the number 100, okay? And you can join the Real Estate Agent Accountability Group put on by RERAW and be part of that exclusive 100. You guys, I'm keeping it small and intimate because I am requiring engagement in this group. But those of you who are part of this program, again, it's $1 a day. You're going to get weekly accountability. You're going to get a free custom journal that I've made just for the RERAW 100. And and you'll have a chance to be on the show. You're going to get weekly calls. All kinds of stuff. There's some group training involved in this, group coaching, I should say, involved in this, where we're going to be engineering your business and answering questions for you on live Zoom calls. So all kinds of good stuff. Now, we're getting into the show. The next part of the show, we've done our accountability stuff. So we're moving to the next part of the show. We're going to talk about actions. Guys, I can't emphasize enough how important action is to your business. If you are not taking deliberate and intentional action when you perform different tasks, when you do your power hour, when you do your 2 or 3 hours of prospecting, you are screwing yourself, you are screwing your business, and you are screwing your future. If you especially are in your first 2 years of business, you are putting at risk with empty actions, you are putting at risk your ability to survive, not to thrive. You are putting at risk your ability to survive in this business. In a room of 1,000, nobody thinks that they're part ever, nobody ever thinks that they're part of the 800 or 900 agents that aren't going to make it. Everybody thinks they're in the 10 to 20% that survive past their first 1 to 2 years in this business. But still, there's an 80 to 90% attrition rate in the first 2 years. And a lot of it comes back to mindset and, in today's episode, action. And not empty action, deliberate, specific, focused action. So let's talk about what this means. It's not rocket science, but we're going to kick the message into you because it's important. Empty action means you pick up the phone and dial numbers that aren't real. It means you go to the office, but you sit in front of your computer and listen to music and play games all day. You can listen to the podcast. It's only 20 minutes. It's designed like that for a reason. But you go to the office and you do something else. You get distracted. You spend your whole day on social media. And by the time you're done, you get to 6 p.m. and you're like, crap, I didn't do anything, but I feel really good because I went to the office. You go and bang on doors, but you never actually talk to anybody. You finally get in front of somebody and talk to them, but you don't really ask them any questions that matter. You're not ready. You role play, but you have an accountability partner that just lets you go through the motions instead of giving you honest feedback, constructive feedback, critical feedback to help you grow. Guys, actions in business, it's not a hope. Actions are required. It is an absolute requirement. So here's the thing. A lot of people, they talk about how many numbers they dialed in a day. So let's talk about shifting your mindset, your perspective, and the way that you approach the actions in your day. A lot of people talk about, just as an example, I cold call every day for 2 or 3 hours and, I dial 200 or 300 numbers. I hit 200 or 300 people today. I think that what we need to do as agents, as professionals, as salespeople, as entrepreneurs, as growth-oriented individuals, is stop counting the number of phone numbers you dial, and start keeping track of how many people you actually talk to. Nobody gives a shit about how many numbers you dial. Dialing numbers isn't what gets you the business. It's real conversations with real people that get you the business. See, the action can't be empty. I kind of joke around on this with other people in my office, some of my colleagues, and I say, you know what I'd love to do? By the way, I would never do this. I'm like, what I would love to do is teach a few people like a real big lesson. And what I'd love to do is go buy a bunch of expired leads, even though I know how to get them for free. I'd love to go buy a bunch of expired leads, and then I'd love to give them all the phone numbers that aren't real. And just have them call through them. And the reason is because, just to prove a point, is because those people calling through those numbers may not get a hold of too many. They may not get a hold of the right person. They may not get a hold of anybody at all, but they'll still feel productive on some level because they were dialing. Guys, the one thing that we don't get more of ever, you never, ever, ever get more time. When the time is spent, it is gone. You get an opportunity to spend it one time. One time you get to spend it. How are you spending it? Are you spending your time on empty actions? Are you spending your time banging on doors of people you know aren't home? Are you cold calling at 2 a.m, which please don't do for the love of God? But are you cold calling at 2 a.m because you know nobody's going to answer? Even though everyone's home, maybe they would answer. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to get in trouble for that. But no, you guys, I mean, it's sometimes we trick ourselves into making it important to appear busy to others, but we're not really being productive. And it's your productive actions that matter. It's productivity that matters. Stop counting the number of doors that you knocked on and start counting the number of people you spoke to. I'll never forget my dad. My dad's a sales guy too. He's in the corporate world, but way back when, and I'll leave the company names out of it because it's not important, but way back when, Dad always tells me this story about how he hit the road and he was struggling, and he was like 6 or 8 hours away from home, and he just said, I'll be damned if I go home before I make a sale. He's like, I don't care how long I'm on the road. I am not turning this car around until I make a sale. And he did that. And he made one sale that day, and he, ended up finally being able to go home and make this long, treacherous drive home. But you guys, we too often are so focused on the action of just dialing a number, and we go, well, if I call for 3 hours, how about we start setting our goals and our commitments to, it's not enough to call for an amount of time. This is the big problem I have with time blocking. We're going to go down a little rabbit hole now on that, but is that the time blocking is just reserved to perform a repetitive action over and over, or do a certain task over and over and over, right? But there's no legitimacy behind the action that you're doing. So like if you're really slow at dialing the numbers on the phone, then you just make less calls, but you still had your 3 hours, right? So my encouragement to you, not just next year, but start right now, is stop these empty actions, stop the empty goals. Don't worry so much about the time block. If you're going to block the time, then that's fine, but you better be damn sure that you make a certain number of contacts, right? Oh, well, I can't control the number of contacts. Sure you can. You might have to dial more numbers. It might take you 4 hours. How many numbers do you have to dial to make one contact? Make a commitment for how many people you're going to actually talk to. And I don't mean somebody answers the phones like, oh, hello, and you're like, hi, I'm a realtor. I was wondering if you wanted to sell your house, and they go, fuck you, and then you hang up the phone. You're like, oh, that's a contact. No, it's not. I'm talking like how many contacts do you want to have? Listen, if you tell me today that the only number of contacts that you want to have is 1, that's perfectly fine. But dial as many numbers as you have to dial to have one real conversation about real estate, about someone who wants to buy or sell or knows somebody who does, and make real connections. It doesn't matter if you call for 3 hours if you're not talking to anybody. Am I making sense? Are you tired of this yet? I think it's time to wrap because we're not at 20 minutes, but I think you get the message. I want you to think about what you're doing, how many doors you knock on, how many calls you make, how many letters you send. Are you sending those letters to a real address, or does it just make you feel pretty that you stuck them in a mailbox but happen to forget the stamp? Make sure the actions you're taking are not empty. Empty actions, empty results. Okay? They say you get out what you put in, then stick $100 bills into every single action that you take. Okay, I'm not suggesting you have to go spend $100 every time you do something. I'm just saying make sure that your actions are worth the money, because if they're not, then you're just wasting it. And remember, you don't get more time. You only get to spend this time once. Spend it wisely. Spend it wisely so that you get a return on that investment. Okay? You guys, if accountability is something you struggle with, it is okay. If you feel like writing it down in a book is not enough for you, it is okay. Coaching and training is incredibly expensive, but it doesn't have to be. The RERAW 100 is an opportunity for 100 of you. We're going to open the group on November 1st. If you want information about it and you want to sign up now, we're going live on November 1st. It'll get you through the next 365 days starting on November 1st for the RERAW 100. So go to reraw.com/100, just the number. Again, it's reraw.com/100, and you can be part of our real estate agent accountability group. It is capped only at 100 people for this group. And the reason we're doing it that way is because we want to promote action. It's $1 a day. Why spend money on it at all? I'll tell you. Because if you're like me, and I know that many of you are, if you're like me, you and I both know that unless we feel like we've got a little more skin in the game, we care less, right? So we choose not to engage. You got to pay attention. We choose not to engage on things that we just aren't as vested in, right? If you had to spend $10,000 marketing or listing a house, I guarantee you'd stretch that money as far as you could and you'd put all your time and attention into that house, right? Because you've got a lot of skin in the game. This isn't a ton of skin in the game, but it's an opportunity for you to be around 99 other people, have access to live group training every couple weeks, phone calls coming in every week to the group to check in on your progress, and accountability from 99 other like-minded people. And when you surround yourself with other people with similar mindset, you up your game. I promise you do. I do it. I surround myself with people. I have accountability partners, both individual and group, and it ups your game. So if you want to be part of it, reraw.com/100. We're cutting each group at 100. This group is 100 people. It's the first we've ever done, and I'm super excited for it. I'm excited to engage with each of you. And for those of you who do sign up, you're going to get access to a free copy that I not only am printing, but I'll ship it at my cost, not yours. You get a free copy of the journal that I'm using. I've customized one just for you. It kind of mimics what I do each week, so that you can be held accountable on a weekly basis and have a place to write it down. Okay, enough of the sales pitch, you guys. It's not a sales pitch because I'm sitting here getting rich on an accountability group. It's a sales pitch for you to start taking you seriously, to start taking your growth and your business and your development seriously. Make sure that you're not performing empty actions every day. Perform actions that are fruitful, that pay you back. And damn it, remember something. Real agents work. Be one of them. Kick some ass. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.